Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. And today I want to talk to you guys about something that I don't normally talk about, and that is comics. I know I don't normally, like I said, I don't normally talk about comics on this channel, but I just wanted to make this one video where I did want to talk about comics for a little bit because I have been a comic book fan for years. I've been a fan of Marvel ever since for as long as I can remember. I've been a fan of DC for as long as I can remember, and I will admit that I did start off with the animated shows, but those shows are what helped me get into reading comics. And I've been reading comics for years now, not as long as some of the other YouTubers that you know who discuss comics, but I have been reading them for a while, and I, just like them, have noticed a significant dip in quality when it comes to mainstream comics, especially Marvel and DC. It's just it's insane to me going from reading comics that were sort of good to just seeing it dip so low in quality. And I'm not just talk here's the thing, I'm not talking about the artwork. The artwork honestly for me was kind of hit or miss, but the writing was always consistent. But before, like I said, it's you saw a gradual decrease in quality when it comes to the writing specifically. And most of that has to do with the fact that Marvel and DC have decided to hire people not based on their writing abilities, not based on their writing abilities, but it is solely based on who they are, sometimes how they identify, and sometimes just based on their views on certain topics, let's just say. They only hire people because of those criteria. They don't hire people based on whether or not they can actually write good stories. And if you want proof of that, just look at the sales. The sales for Marvel and DC haven't been good. In fact, they have been they have been getting lower and lower and lower every year, to the point where nobody even really talks about them anymore, except for people on this platform. But normies, average everyday people who usually pick up books, whether they're novels or comics, just to read, like, they don't buy these anymore because they're not interesting. And the people especially that they drove away are hardcore Marvel and DC fans, because you either decided to, like I said, stop writing good stories, or you've taken characters that they have loved and either race swapped them, gender swapped them, in some cases sex swapped them. And by sex swap I mean sexuality swap. And when you do that, when you disrespect the characters like that, it drives your fans away. However, one of the excuses that I've seen people use is, well, people just don't really have an interest in comics anymore. Like, comics are mostly just for kids. And that has always been complete BS. That's always been complete BS. People still like reading comics. People still, even well into their adulthood, even me, I still like reading comics. I will read them if they're good. I'm not going to read them because they suck. And if you want proof of that, I have something right here in front of me, which you've probably already figured out what it is. This is the April 2021 NPD book scan, the top 20 adult graphic novels. And one thing that you'll see about the list is there is something missing. Let's just go ahead and take a look at the list, shall we? This is the list. This is the MPD book scan of top 20 adult graphic novels for April 2021, from the 3rd of April 2021 to the 1st of May 2021. And as you can see, if you look at all of them, it is all manga. It's all manga. Look, you've got My Hero, Chainsaw Man, which I hear is actually pretty damn good. I've been meaning to get into that. Jujutsu Kaisen, which if you haven't seen the anime, I highly recommend you do. And I'm definitely going to start reading the manga. Demon Slayer, of course. And this is, think about this, Volume 1 and Volume 2, which were, if I remember correctly, like, these were released years ago. But because of the recent popularity of the anime, people started picking up the manga. You've got Chainsaw Man again, Attack on Titan, and Volume 1, again, released years ago. Spy X Family. and Tokyo Ghoul, My Hero, and again, it's all manga, and you'll see that My Hero is you can see it multiple times. Even probably the most recent volume, you can see Demon Slayer, especially since again the popularity of the anime. Excuse me, but especially the popularity of the movie, which if I remember correctly, I remember reading an article that says that it is the top grossing anime movie ever. Well, maybe not ever. Maybe in 2021. But I also saw it being compared to movies that were released years before. So no, I think it might actually be the highest grossing anime movie ever. And you'll see the proof right here. People still read manga. And manga, last time I checked, are comics. But the difference between manga and the difference between manga and Western comics is the fact that manga is still focused on telling good and interesting stories. People are not buying Western comics, especially Marvel and DC, because they're not interested in telling stories anymore. They're only interested in preaching. They only care about preaching, and that is why they don't sell anymore. That is why, and by the way, they might say that, oh, it's just people from a certain side. No, no, it's everyone. Everyone hates Marvel and DC comics right now. That's why no one's buying them. And interestingly enough, a lot of the people you see that'll defend Marvel and DC, I guarantee you even they're not buying it. Because interestingly enough, just like with movies, just like Hollywood does with movies and TV shows, comics have decided to pander to that certain audience, which we have tried to tell them time and time again that these people will never support you. They will never support you, at least not in the way you want them to, i.e., financially. They'll never support you with their money. They'll go out there and they'll post as many tweets as you want supporting you. But when you ask them to, hey, could you maybe go to your local comic shop and, maybe pick up an issue or something? No, they'll always tell you no. Because that'll take away from their valuable tweeting time. And they'll actually have to convince them to what? You want me to put on clothes and go outside? What, are you fucking insane? Like, these people will never support them, but these are the people that they have chosen to pander to. And they have told us, the real fans, to fuck off. And that is exactly what we've done. We have left. We're not giving them any more of our money. Because we're not going to support a terrible product. Why would we? Why would we give our money to a company that is giving us a terrible product? And it's insane to me. I mean, this is where this is the state of Western or mainstream comics, to the point where it's been completely taken over by manga. And the thing is, I still remember when that wasn't the case. I still remember when people barely knew about manga. Like, the majority, like, when it comes to the amount of people who knew about manga and anime, it was a small amount of people, especially when you compare them to the amount of people who knew about mainstream comics, especially, again, Marvel and DC. But that's completely flipped now. And again, the biggest, I don't know what was to say, the biggest, probably the big, one of the biggest reasons that has happened is, again, because Marvel and DC have chosen to pander to that certain people, especially by hiring people who, let's just say, only have a certain view on the world, especially when it comes to certain topics. And listen, if that's who you want to hire, that's fine, as long as they can still write good stories. But as it has been proven, these people can't write good stories, or maybe they can't, they won't. Because they don't want to write good stories, they just want to use them to preach. I mean, hell, didn't we have, what was her name? It was some woman with red hair, I'm blanking out on her name, who said, if you don't like my politics, don't buy my books. Well, congratulations, bitch, they gave you exactly what you wanted. You were right, problem solved. We do problem solved, but the problem that was solved was our problem. We had all these shitty comics. Well, guess what? We decided not to buy them anymore. Thanks for the advice. And now you're broke. And now you're probably out there begging for a job. I think, what was it? Didn't she also beg for a job at Image Comics? Or no, I don't think that was her. I think that was, what was her name? Kelly Sudik. No, not Kelly Sudikonis. That was someone else. Oh yeah, Heather Antos. Yeah, I remember. It was Heather Antos who was begging for a job for in Image Comics. Or no, I think they hired her if I remember correctly. No, it wasn't Image. It was DC. I think, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I don't really pay much attention to the comics industry anymore. Ever since they, like I said, they started going just full on insanity. So anyway, I just wanted to bring you guys that video. Again, I know I don't normally talk about this stuff, but I did think this was very, very interesting. But yeah, like I said, manga is where it's at. Anime is where it is at, and even that, if you don't know, is being slowly being infested by that certain group, which I hope goes away soon, because last time I checked, Japan as a country still likes to make money, especially Shueisha. Yeah, they really like making money, and the second they find out that these people are gonna cost them money, they're gonna say bye bye. So those are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know your thoughts as always in the comment section down below. Remember to like the video, share the video, and of course subscribe if you haven't. And remember to click on the bell icon, because that will notify you whenever I post a brand new video. Thank you so much again for watching and or listening. Please remember to stay safe and take care of yourselves as always. And join me for the next video. Bye for now.